What's going on, family? It seems like the Marvel cash cow has finally run its course, and we're here to talk about it right here, only on the C's Monroe Show. So we finally came to this point where we're kind of Marvel fatigued. And I don't even think that's what it is. I feel like the stories just aren't there. And we ignored the early signs from the beginning of phase 4. Like Shang-Chi, terrible. But people gave it praise that I feel like it did not deserve. And I believe Black Widow was a part of phase 4, but it kind of went into phase 3. So you have that, right? In all honesty, I feel like Kang is a great villain. We should focus on Kang. But I feel like they're spreading him thin with these Marvel series. So you have the Miss Marvels, you have Loki, you have WandaVision. You have these things that's trying to build up to this great villain. Instead of with Thanos, you only had films that built up to this villain, right? And you took your time with the stories to create this incredible timeline to make this villain seem unstoppable. But then you get movies like Ant-Man Quantumania where Ant-Man actually wins the battle. I don't know what happened with that because honestly, from what I read early on, Ant-Man was supposed to have died in that film. Don't know where we got off and we changed the ending. It was a terrible idea. If you guys haven't seen my Ant-Man Quantumania review, please go check it out. It's on the page. Marvel is in this tricky space where their series are diluting the content. Not only are we giving these great stories to a streaming service, because Secret Invasion, I feel like was a great, I take that back. It could have been a great show. You know what? It was a great show. It just had a terrible ending. And really what a lot of these things have come to is you have 8 episodes, so you want to spread these 8 episodes out. And I believe Secret Invasion was 6 episodes, so you want to spread out the suspense and all these other great things. And I feel like we spread out the wrong things in that series, and we rushed the ending because we wanted to make it 6 episodes. In all reality, I feel like that would have served better as a 3-hour film. I would rather take a 3-hour film over a 3-hour episode. Not 3-hour episode, but a 3-hour series, if that makes sense. Secret Invasion was one of those things that fell flat, but I honestly feel that was probably the best series they had because, I don't know, the spy and espionage thing, I feel like Disney has that down pat. Captain America Winter Soldier was incredible, and I feel like it fell in that same realm of film. So I feel like that's why I liked it as much as I did. People would say Loki is their top. I honestly feel that Loki, if I knew nothing about what was going on and I sat down and watched Loki, I would not enjoy it. So that's why I give Loki that feel of we're only here because we're waiting for this Kang variant, right? And we know what this is building up to. Same thing with the sequel to the Avengers, Age of Ultron. I feel like we didn't have much there until after the fact. Infinity War, same with Infinity War. I feel like the action scenes were phenomenal. The story wasn't there. Everybody was everywhere. It was very episodic the way it was shot. But until Endgame, I really didn't enjoy Infinity War as much as I enjoyed Endgame at that time. Now I can kind of watch each film like on their own, but at the time I really didn't enjoy Infinity War, just how it was, and because I know these characters, I kind of felt the way of how they were treating the characters in the film. That's neither here nor there. But right now I feel like Marvel is in this space where they're just trying to milk this streaming service. They're trying to save Disney Plus. Reason is they didn't achieve what they wanted to with all the Star Wars series. My problem is Star Wars was never that big of a franchise. It was something that was great for a time and people enjoyed it. And when that first movie came out after 10, 15, damn near 2 decades, of course everybody rushed to go see it. But as you can see, after those films started to not gross as much, one after another just fell flat on his face. So when you go and you say, hey, I'm gonna just put these series on Disney Plus and try to create this fan base up again, it falls flat because again, there's not enough storytelling in the Star Wars in the stories at all. I feel like every Star Wars show and every Star Wars film, we're still focused on Luke Skywalker. So just imagine if every Avengers film or Marvel, actually, let's not say Avengers, let's say every Marvel film was focused on Iron Man or the Hulk. If we were just focusing on those characters for 20 some odd years, actually, with the Star Wars, it's almost 50 years. If we're just focusing on these characters this whole time, this is what you're going to receive. With Avengers, with the Marvel movies, you're focusing on different aspects of the world, different characters. You have hundreds of characters that you can use. So you're not really tamed to these three or this family tree of Luke Skywalker. You have a whole world that you can explore with the Marvel universe. So I feel like that's why we're using Marvel content to save this streaming service that really wasn't supposed to be this streaming giant in the first place. I thought it was you're supposed to go there to get your little Disney fix here and there. Now they've turned it to, hey, you need this channel or this streaming service because this is where these stories are coming from. And at the beginning, they told us that you didn't have to watch these stories or these series to enjoy the films. But honestly, if you go see Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness and you didn't watch WandaVision, you will be completely lost. So that was not a true statement. Like it again, one of those things where it fell flat. Phase 4 was just a disaster. Phase 5 has been a disaster, and I feel like it's going to end badly. So hopefully the Marvels comes out on the 10th. Hopefully it changes some things for us. But right now I feel like Marvel is just faced with this great big debate on, do we save the streaming service or do we continue to go towards these films? Because right now, that's why these films are suffering. You don't have great stories. You're just throwing films out there after you're throwing these series, and you're spending this budget on these series that should be made into a film. $200 million on a show, I'm sorry, it just doesn't seem worth it to me.